after it's added to Morpher. I actually ended up with 1.5 megs. Now, I think that there's the difference between these two file sizes only because I animated more vertices. I moved more vertices in the head. The Morpher modifier in Max is designed to automatically cull out vertex positions that aren't needed in the morph. So if you haven't moved a vertice in the head, say up on the top of the head here, you haven't moved this vertice, it doesn't actually store it in Morpher, and it does this automatically. It doesn't have to be removed by command line or anything after the fact and cleaned up. It just looks at whatever vertex have moved in the target, and it only stores those. Now if we go and open up one of the files that I actually created previous, and this is just with a straight smile target on this mesh. There's no rig in here. You can see my morph target actually moves very quickly, and if skin was on it, it would move very quickly as well. It would move basically the same speed, and it wouldn't actually slow down. So I'm actually getting faster playback on my target because it's not having to go up and weld it all back together again above it. It's just straight morphing for the entire character. But like I said, the file size is exactly the same for all intents and purposes as the other file. If I'd moved the exact same amount of vertices in exactly the same way, I would have had exactly the same file size result in the two files. So just because of the errors in, possible errors in production anyways, of having to use a system where you're trying to attach meshes together, I tend to avoid using this. I don't believe that it's the better system. I actually tried using it on a TV series once, and as it turned out, by the time we had all the targets on the character and we deleted all the targets out of the scene, our character was extremely slow and cumbersome to use while morphing. It didn't morph quickly at all. It was actually very slow to use. I ended up rebuilding the character partway through production. I believe it had a higher resolution the second time through. I did more details on the character. And I recreated all the morph targets. I did them on the full body of the character and left them that way. And as it turns out, our files were no change in the actual file size of the character for all intents and purposes. It was about the same. And the morphing was actually faster, so the facial animation went quicker. The deforming character on skin was quicker because this skin is having to rely on this edit poly. So when animation plays back, Morpher's having to move the vertices in the face. It's having to attach the body onto the head. It's having to weld the vertices around the neck, and then skin gets to get a hold of it and be able to change it and displace all the vertices to the new position for the character. So everything was running slowly in the character. This system in my books is just complication for no particular reason that I've ever seen that works well.